Hi guys, it's still Women's History Month. Happy Wednesday. I know I haven't dropped anything in the series this week, and it's simply because, like I told you guys, I'm grieving. We're getting ready to bury my grandfather this weekend, and I basically wake up when I am able to go to sleep every morning and I burst out into tears. I am trying to get it together, and this may be the only video that I drop this week, but I think it's a super important one. So I've been dropping little gems for women and young girls about how they can become the main character in their own lives, from this month on and, the rest of their lives. And this particular video is going to be for the dads, the uncles, the brothers, the male cousins, of how you can contribute into encouraging the women and the young women in your family or in your life to step into their own purpose without focusing on always nurturing everyone and everything around them, and to get them to kind of regroup and figure out how to live their authentic truth without being worried about society. It's really hard. So I'm going to preface this by saying that every man benefits from the patriarchy, whether he wants to or not, right? So the tips that I'm going to drop, it's what worked for me. It's what's made me be the outgoing woman that I am. And I'm going to tell you this, I am who I am because I had an active father. And that's not to put anything against my mother, but oftentimes when women are taught and the misogyny and the patriarchy, it flows down. It is not that easy for women to rebel against it, especially in whatever time that they're growing up in. And a big help for me was having a father that, even though he benefited from the patriarchy, he has never stopped wanting his daughters to be more free and to have choices. He's not pressuring us into getting married, into having a family. Whatever our dreams are, he is rooting for us, right? But I'm going to tell you from a young age some of the messages I got from my father that really helped me to be who I am, and to be that woman that can say no to people, to be that woman that will not suffer in silence, to be that woman that is going to learn from other women. I definitely, and I know it's ironic, but I definitely got a lot of those gems from my father, because who else knows how to be free but a man? One of the biggest things growing up is, even if I was like 5 years old and I was in a room and I had a thought and there was something I wanted to share and someone wanted to tell me like, shut up or be quiet, if my father is in that room, they're gonna have to let me finish my sentence. It doesn't mean if I am singing the ABCs for the 60th time, they're gonna have to listen to the end and applause. So what that taught me from the beginning is that what I have to say matters. Okay, and I understand that some people, and that didn't mean that there wasn't discipline in my family and in my home. There was a lot of discipline, but as a little girl, I could finish my sentences. I could say something to my father and he is really listening. Okay, he's not pretending to be listening. He's not telling me that these are girl things or boy things or whatever. He's literally listening. And that's the first thing you can do as a father, is listen to your little girls. Listen to what they have to say. Make them feel like what they have to say is important. Another thing that worked is, when we were growing up, the boys and girls had the same rules. My parents made it very clear they were not going to be young grandparents, and they did not end up being young grandparents. The rules were the same for everybody, right? But it's not to say that my father didn't forget that that I was a girl, right? He would let me know that, when consequences come for a lot of things, especially anything that have to do with men and boys and the consequences are always harder on women. My dad is like, I didn't make the rules, but I could tell you how to strategically go around it. And one of the biggest things he told me is, especially as I got older, don't do anything with any boy or any man that you don't want to be doing. Because when the consequences come, you're going to pay more than he is. So don't have anyone pressure you into going out on a date with them if you don't want to. Don't become intimate with someone if you don't want to. You've got to be making the choices, right? He also taught us girls, don't sit there and wait to be chosen. You do the choosing, okay? And some people will disagree with it and whatever. But it isn't saying chase men. It's saying that the patriarchal, society makes it feel like women should be lucky that a man wants to marry them. But in actuality, my father taught me that if you don't want to marry that man, then what is the purpose? Simply, what is the purpose? So we, the girls, his daughters, we get to do the choosing, okay? And nothing is not happening if that's not what we want, okay? Also, as I got older, like 18 and up, and especially when I was starting to pay my own bills, my father loved that even if we disagreed on topics, that I could hold my own in those discussions. He doesn't want me to bow down to him because he is daddy. If we disagree, we're going to respectfully disagree. And my dad and I, we rarely fight, but when we do fight, we're like two bulls in a pen. Two bulls in a pen. And even if daddy gets off that phone or in person, he's upset with me and he's like, what did she just say? Like, this is some craziness. He almost always comes back and says, hey, I may not see things the way how you see it, but I respect how you're living your life and the decisions you make, okay? So even though I'm a daddy's girl, my life is not lived to please daddy. It is simply, I'm living my life to be my authentic self. No, I don't want to embarrass my family, but at the same time, I have to do what's good for me, and daddy appreciates that, right? So those are just some of the things you can do, for your young girls growing up. Make sure that they're heard. Make sure that you're not giving the boys, your sons in the family, the boys will be boys speech and wink, wink, and then telling the girls like they can't date or they can't whatever. We could date. We didn't call it dating, but we dated. And what it really was is, I had a high school boyfriend, and I actually dated two guys in high school. My father knew where they lived, their families, he had been to their homes, and if their families had multiple homes, he knows where that's at. He could get there just about anywhere within 30 minutes or less. And that's how daddy liked to do it. So it was very supervised. We need to know who that person's family is. And I never... To this day, I don't call anybody a boyfriend when I'm talking to my daddy. I'm just like, that's my friend. Everybody's different, but I'm like, that's just my friend because I just believe in friend and husband, right? And I don't have a husband. But that is my personal take on it. I am traditional with some things, but liberal with most things. I'm traditional that if a man wants my hand in marriage, he needs to go to my father. Okay? Because daddy knows he already knows who I would marry and who I would not. Because you would have those conversations with your daughters. So let them finish their sentences. Let them play whatever sport they want to play. Let them have the interests they have. But most of all, I think daddies need to keep the open lines of communication where your daughters can come to you and talk to you about anything, because it's not everything mommies are equipped for. And I know some of y'all are going to be pissed that I said that, but to be honest, from the generations above us where they didn't have a lot of choice and they had to subscribe to the patriarchy, it is very hard to get rid of that thinking. So it is ironic that I am a free thinker because I had a father that allowed free thinking. Okay? Because who else knows how to be free but a man? I'm going to say that shit again. I will try to do a short format of this sometime this week, but those are some of the tips. And if I think of any of the other tips for fathers, brothers, uncles, but do realize we're not just there to nurture you. We're business women. We're intelligent. We are the future of so many things. And you just letting us finish our sentences and really take in what we're saying, ooh, that will change a young girl's life. It will. It will. It will. And not make certain things taboo. Because I'm going to tell you, there were certain conversations my mom was just not equipped to have those discussions, okay? She was not. Sometimes my mom moved like Jesus' cousin. And my dad's a street guy. So he likes to explain things to me like, if your right hand disrespects you, cut it off. And don't look back. Daddy would say everybody plays a fool sometime, but if you out there dating and you playing a fool every time, we got to pull you back and have a conversation. And that was the rules for the boys and the girls. All right, it's KJM. It's Wednesday. I'm out. I hope you made it to the end of this video, and I hope you're having a great week. Bye.